All right. Good evening. It is 6:02 p.m. on Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. And I'd like to call to order the Keizer Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting. We are at the Keizer Civic Center, and we have some Parks Board members absent this evening. Don's noted that for attendance. Second order of business will be the consideration of the February 2024 minutes. Is there a motion on the minutes, please?
I move that we approve the February minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that? Mike? Sure. Okay, we got a motion by Lisa and a second by Mike to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously with, I believe, 2 absent? Who's absent? Raise your hand if you're not here. Great, thank you. Katie, so we're down 1. Okay, great. Okay, next, appearance of interested citizens. First, I'd like to call up Tammy Kuntz. Tammy, if you'd like to come forward, please state your name and city of residency for the record, and tell us all the wonderful things that are on your mind this evening.
Tammy Kuntz, Greater Northeast Keizer Neighborhood Association. Keizer. I wanted to share a couple of thoughts that we covered last night with City Council work session with community diversity engagement. One of the ideas that we have been talking about for the last few weeks and months that we've been talking about different ways to engage is getting all the groups that meet here, the advisory boards, committees and such, to participate with the neighborhood associations and maybe email us activities that are coming up within our parks and all that kind of stuff so we can add that information into our newsletter. Who would I need to address to see about that happening?
I'm sorry.
So what I will say is that I too would like to know some of the major activities happening in our parks, because when it happens and people are like, hey, I didn't know this, it's like, neither did I, so.
Any ideas how to make that stuff available? Do we keep a list of what's going on? And can we distribute it to the neighborhood associations?
Yeah, so we do have a parks calendar that we utilize, that city staff has access to. So maybe we could share the data that's on that.
Okay.
That's pertinent to what you're seeking, with folks, and you can see what we got going on.
Okay.
If you wanted some type of a formal newsletter issued, we could possibly do it that style also.
Perfect. That was really all I have.
Perfect.
Yeah, Counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to follow up on that, question is the calendar that you're talking about, is it possible to put those public events on our city website?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the public events are on the city website, but if there's not, they should be. Yeah.
Okay, now, if somebody has a private event going on at the park, that's fine.
Right.
But public events, it'd be great if we could just put it on our website. And then neighborhood associations could find them a lot easier, right?
Yeah, because they're next to impossible for us to find, and we get calls all the time. What's going on? Can I still utilize the park while this thing's going on?
And I
Yes, go ahead.
have a follow-up. I just like when there's a giant bike ride at Keizer Rapids, you show up and there's like all of the stuff happening, which it's great, it's wonderful. We don't really have a say and shouldn't have a say in what happens at Keizer Rapids, but it's nice to know so that you can plan and so that people who watch this know that, hey, even though it's a private event,
Right.
it's still a giant thing that's happening, like Keizer Fest. We all know about Keizer Fest because it's in the city council meeting minutes and all of that.
Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's a private event or public event, regardless, there's typically notices posted within a certain time frame prior to that, right?
No.
Not always.
No.
But like the day of, a lot of times it'll say reserved, or there's an event.
Yeah, they usually have event signs and
Right.
some information regarding what's going on there, but as far as like an advanced posting, not always.
Okay. We might want to explore that just a little bit, especially if it's something big. I mean, Keizer Rapids is generally more common for those larger events and things like that, but I'm just wondering if at some point we want to look at the parks rules a little bit and maybe do like a couple day advance notice where we just put it on the bulletin board right there by the dog park or somewhere where it's easily accessible where people can see the information. Especially if it's going to draw a larger crowd. It just might be, I mean, I'm not a big fan of signs for the sake of signs, but see if we can find a way to be creative about making sure that information's
Yeah, you show up at 6 AM and there is all of this stuff and all
That's
the
right.
people and like bikes everywhere. It's like, I think that there's an event today.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just one of the things that some of us, like Rhonda's really good about letting people know what's going on. I get calls for things that are going on at Claggett that I got no idea of.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to be able to put it out a week ahead of time and say, hey, this is gonna be going on such and such a time, just so that people have a heads up.
I mean, I think there's pluses and minuses, right? I mean, maybe it's
There
a
is.
private event. You don't want to put it out there because then you potentially get folks showing up that don't necessarily need to be there. That already happens, right? You have a private event, people show up and they're like, hey, cake and ice cream, right? Well, no, this is a birthday party. Like,
Right.
I don't know, we can explore something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, especially public events, like typically, I think the hard part is if it's a public event, like for example, like when I've done the Watershed Council Soggy Day, we're putting it out there everywhere, right?
Right.
But it's a very organic outreach. We don't advertise it much. Last year was kind of the anomaly because the chamber really did a great job and we had more than double the participation. But it was purposeful, right?
Right.
Whereas like the Monster Cookie is a sort of private/public thing because anybody can go to it, but it's a private event. You have to pre-register and everything else like that. And so
Yeah, it's
just finding the
just
balance.
a new way for us to engage with our communities and maybe help them grow a little better if they know that we got this event going on and it's a public event, then they can go and engage more with one another. We're just looking for new ideas of ways to engage better
Communication
and
is always good.
inform.
Thank you, Tammy.
Knowledge is good.
All right, Jenny, are you signing up for now or for the next? Perfect. All right, rolling right along. Peggy, you got anything tonight? What about West Keizer? You guys good? You happy? All right, good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right, matching grant program. So this big scary number, $7,423.25 is actually the cumulative value of this project. If you hearken back to last month's application, this is a application for Bear Park. This individual applied last month, but then couldn't be here and needed a little bit of additional information. And Robert is actually going to introduce this for us a little bit and kind of give us a little bit of background so we can have some discussion about it.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, so Connor, I met this young gentleman about a year ago, and he is a fantastic young gentleman. He loves Bear Park. He's kind of adopted it as his backyard park. He lives in that neighborhood. And he's very intelligent. He's very into insects and nature, wildlife, things like that. And so he is wanting to do a project. Hopefully you all have had a little bit of time to review it, but basically the gist of it is he wants to go in and remove a whole bunch of invasive plants that are no good and doing the park no good, and then replace a lot of those with some natives. And I think that's just a fantastic project for any of our parks, especially Bear Park, because it's used to be kind of a very natural area that we've since come in and done some clearing. Unfortunately, when you clear vegetation, a lot of the invasives try to take back over. And that's been one park that we've definitely had some challenges with a few different plants, mostly the English ivy. So that's the gist of the project. There is an application and then a couple, I think there's one or two additional pages with some cost of plants in here, but I'd be happy to answer any other questions that the board might have.
Lisa?
On the application, it says the project completion date is 2025.
Yes, so that's not entirely true.
Good.
So he would like to continue to keep the invasives removed as time goes on. The gist of the project would happen soon
Okay.
with some additional, I'll say, maintenance of those plants to just make sure that they're not coming back and thriving again.
So the $511 is for putting in plants and having them planted before the end of June?
Yes.
And then next year, if there's problems, if there's die-off, they can come back like West Keizer
Yes.
came back with the Willamette Manor project.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Mike, go.
So just for clarity on that, it looked like most of that was labor, and so.
Correct.
It's not actually coming out of the fund to pay for those things.
He's asking for $511 to be issued to him through the Parks Mansion Grant Program.
Okay.
The rest is
You saw the quote
value,
at the end, it is-
value of labor, yeah. And we always want to know what these projects are worth, right?
Right.
And labor is worth a lot nowadays. And when you're dealing with invasive species and ivy removal, it's nothing that just happens quickly. It takes time. And he's definitely investing his time. He already has been, but he wants to continue to invest his time in this park long-term.
Right.
And so those were some calculations that he came up with, as far as the groups and how many hours he felt it would take to really get the park under good shape.
Perfect.
You're
That's
welcome.
good.
I mean, this is the exact kind of project I think we envisioned when I say we, I mean Councilor Kohler created the idea of this youth program. And so, I think it's great. It's not a lot of money. And the fact that this young man is willing to put a lot of effort into it, I think is super awesome. Any other questions or comments or thoughts? If not, let's put a motion on the table for consideration.
I move that we grant Connor a grant of $512. I mean, it's $511.25.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
Not to
sure.
exceed.
Yeah, not to exceed $512. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what I want.
I'll second.
Got a motion to grant 512, not to exceed $512 by Lisa and a second by Tanya. Is there any discussion on this? I know, Robert, typically the question that Clay asks is what's our budget? How much we got left? So I'm gonna ask it for Clay.
That's a lot.
So I didn't bring the exact number, but we're somewhere in the $13,000 range. There's a lot on the table.
And we have basically, 3 months, three and a
Yeah.
half months roughly to get
June
some
30th.
projects. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, discussion? No? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Robert. And, Robert, what I would encourage if just kind of as an aside, is as he's doing some of the work, if he wants to send in some photos and stuff, that'd be great. I know Clay kind of adopts that park as well, and so, it'd be interesting to sort of hear Clay's feedback on it as well as it's going along. So
Sounds
this
good.
is cool. This is a park that doesn't
Great.
demand a lot of love, but it also doesn't get a lot of love. It's very well monitored though, because we have a Parks Board member that walks it at least once a day, most days. So, that's awesome. All right, we have an overview by Jenny Amon from the City Environmental Education Coordinator on the tree plotter inventory and associated volunteer training. Jenny, welcome, and glad to have you here. Tell us all this wonderful stuff about the tree plotter inventory.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me get in on the agenda. I'd like to start with just a little background. Last fall, we were approved to start a pilot to go ahead and find out how much time, staff, and equipment it would take to start tracking urban trees. So with a partnership between Oregon Department of Forestry and our Environmental and Technical Division, we went out with our tablets and tree ID guides and started kind of monitoring what time it would take to do our urban streets. As you all know, River Road is not very treed. We started there just to get an idea how long it would take to get half-mile sections done. What we tried to do is then spell out in phases what that would look like long-term. So there's a 5-year plan and an internal plan to go ahead and continue this work with the help of volunteers and the support of Oregon Department of Forestry. The tree plotter data collection itself is a software that they introduced. I don't know for certain the date, but it's been around. And they are going to help us perform the volunteer training because they are the experts with that software. We've deployed it and it's open source data. So people could pop on and look at Keizer's tree data and find out our top 5 species of trees, the condition in which they're in, the location that they're in, which is all really great. And I think as a Parks Board, you guys could have a heyday with that data. What can we do? Do we need more trees and diversity of species as we have invasives move in, especially emerald ash borer and the mob, the oak borer? So the overview, basically that project was done in September as the pilot. We rolled out, hey, this is really working. This will be really helpful. We met with our managers and said, hey, streets, storm and parks, would you use this data? They gave us a thumbs up. So why I'm coming to you is I need your help to help promote the volunteer training and the recruitment of volunteers. I know that's a lot because I just heard what you talked about and you guys have a lot of promotion to do for grants and other projects. So I don't take it lightly that I'm asking for one more thing on your to-do list, but I'm hoping I can make it really easy for you. On May 4th from 9 to noon here, we are hosting our training and we will have forestry experts through ODF. We have folks with the invasive species through OSU Extension, our staff, and we'll go through what we need to have volunteers trained on before we deploy the inventory. So I do have volunteers needed flyers. It has all the pertinent information and then a QR code to go to a survey. So those are here and Dawn, they are set by the dais.
So by what?
Only the home in front of you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
These,
Sorry.
so if you have it, spread it around. And if you want a digital copy, I would be more than happy to resend it. I plan on doing press this week, so can help do that. Any questions
Lisa, go ahead.
about
I have
program?
one question. If a volunteer isn't able to come to the May 4th, is that going to be recorded? Can volunteers watch that and then?
Lisa, that question is valid and I appreciate you asking it because I did put a request in to have someone come and record it for that very reason. It's hard to pick a day
Oh, yeah.
come spring and summer where everybody can attend that wants to and is interested. If you know a videographer that would like to do it for free, knowing this is a new program, we're not allotting budget to it, so we're trying to keep things very conservative. So if you know anyone that wants to do some videography, let them know, get in touch with me, but, yes, we were gonna try to record it in our low budget fashion.
My thought might be do a live stream on Zoom and then record it through Zoom and you can post it.
We're gonna be outside because it's tree ID.
That's not gonna work.
And so I was going through that too, Matt, and I thought, oh golly, how do we do that? So
Okay.
Yeah,
honestly, if you guys have things offline that you're like, hey, this is a resource, I work here, I'm here
Yeah.
all day, every day.
got a
so-
couple ideas straight away, so, potential videographers that are local chamber members and stuff.
It would be great. I would love a connection.
One of the thoughts I have here, please include the work in your analysis on suggested trees that was done for the Arboretum. I'm
Yeah.
assuming you probably already have that in there, but I just wanted to point that out because
Absolutely.
that was something, Wilbur Bloom put a lot of time in with the Keizer Rotary. And the majority of those trees were ones that were identified by the city at the time as, very desirable trees. And so
Absolutely.
just as we're keeping that in mind, as you talk about the potential for new trees coming in, that would be one that I really suggest. And I just want to kind of throw a shout out, one of my former planning commissioner colleagues, Frank Hostler, this is something he'd be super passionate about. I'm going to
Nice.
be messaging him straight away after this and saying, hey, this is right up your wheelhouse, because he brought this idea, generally from a planning perspective, probably like 5 years ago. So
There's
it's
a
cool.
lot of intersectionality between the work that trees do from filtering stormwater to putting shade on to upping the real estate value of folks' homes. I mean, I think the value of trees are a little hard to put a dollar sign on, but having data in front of us that can help us guide planning and finances and future stewardship is really large. I will note that it's all public area, so we are doing
right.
public right-of-ways, public parks. We've worked with Robert to kind of figure out, hey, could we work in parks to do this too? So we have buy-in with managers. I think the biggest thing, the parks will be an easy sell to track trees. I mean, what a fun day, right? But the harder sell is like, how about we walk on sidewalks in the summer and look at trees?
Yeah.
But there would be snacks potentially, just,
You always went with snacks.
Yes.
yeah.
Just do it afterwards, because if you do it during it, they all disappear to the
I
snacks and don't
learned
come back.
from the Civic Center cleanup, that's this Saturday,
Yes.
if you haven't.
Oh, yeah,
you
you're
didn't
still
know about
with my
it.
thunder, but yeah, thank you for the preview.
Thank you for your time. Were there any other questions? My email is on here and Robert knows how to get a hold of me as well.
So in addition to the survey, they can access this through the Keizer.org website?
No.
Oh, interesting,
No,
okay.
not yet. It's not up on our ENT page yet,
Okay, great.
but it will eventually have its own landing page, the inventory.
Well, if you want to zoom in, here's the QR code. Good luck scanning it, but there you go.
Oh,
It's there.
there will be press going out and Kaiser Times does a great job.
Okay, great.
Of placing them.
No, this is awesome. Thank you for bringing this forward. And for those of you listening, this is a great opportunity to get involved and do some of the great work. And I've always appreciated Jenny's advocacy and willing to do great things. So this is cool. I'm excited for this. I might actually go Saturday, unless I'm otherwise occupied. But how are we doing on time? We are okay on time. Tanya, Ryan Hill in Willamette Manor.
Yes, I went to Ryan Hill probably a week and a half ago. Everything looked fine. Yep, the light's on. It's not working, I don't think. But, and then I was told that Willamette Manor was completely tagged and that you're gonna talk about that because you brought some pictures. But I've heard since then, it is cleaned up and there's a new tree planted and it looks great. And I drove by, I don't know if you're on the docket for tonight. Oh, you are. I won't steal your thunder. But the parks look great. So keep it up.
Great.
All right. Gwen. Clyde Creek in Clear Lake.
Clyde Creek looks great. Tammy just told me that there was some branches down and she contacted, Robert. And otherwise, it's all cleaned up. It looks beautiful. No, Clear Lake looks really great too. There's no problem with that. The only thing with, Clyde Creek, they're maybe a little bit spongy at places, but we've had a lot of rain.
Can you take care of that, by the way? That would be
Make it
really
stop
helpful.
raining. But they both
I
look
love
good.
that comment, Gwen. Thank you so much. I love that.
Thank you.
And you guys do great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lavin, Wallace House in Kaiser Little League.
At Wallace House, the rubber underneath the play structure, it seems to be coming apart at seams. There's cracks that run like there's seams opening up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's, just to inform the board, that's the original rubber that we ever installed about 14 years ago. It does not have the top coat on it that all the other rubber has. And so you can see the seams where the underlayment is poured and cold joints, if you will. It still functions properly as fall protection. It just doesn't have the greatest look to it. So maybe someday, it's probably gonna wait until we replace that playground, but maybe sooner it can be replaced.
In Little League Park, they were digging some kind of drainage when I was out there.
That could be, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they were, had dug a hole in one of the fields and then they were working on their, and some of the dugouts are rotting along the back, bottom end. And there's just a lot of assorted trash everywhere,
Trash, can you please,
like wrappers.
oh, wrappers.
Left over from baseball.
Hmm.
I could only pick up so much.
Did it look like they had an event there?
No,
Or
this looked
these
like
wrappers have been there for
They've been
years
for all
or
winter, yeah.
all winter?
Yeah, and the garbage can was full.
The dumpster or a
A garbage can by the snack commissary was full.
okay. Good to know, thank you.
All right, Lisa, Palma Cia Sunset in Kaiser Rapids, because let's just be honest.
Everybody has a chance. Kaiser Rapids is everybody's park.
I mean, we're renaming it.
So, Sunset is beautiful. There's a couple of turkeys, the avian
On the
type of
dais, or-
turkeys. No,
Oh, Park, sorry.
more than a couple up here.
Got it.
But in the park, there's been a couple of turkeys that have been wandering around, you know, it's nice. I like seeing them. They've been making their way down to Wallace House. They've been seen past Palmacia on Rafael as well. But, the windstorm, it brought down little bitty bits of tree, it's fine. Sunset also is a tad bit spongy.
Take care of that.
But no, it's a beautiful park. It's always being used. There's always people, the garbage can's always empty, you know, or almost empty, you know, you know, you guys take care of that park so well. I feel really, really, really fortunate. Palmacia, also good, you know, that wall's leaning a little bit more, it feels like, with this heavy rain. But, you know, we'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
And the one thing I have is, there seems to be some dog waste in Palmacia, and there's not one of the dog waste containers there, and I don't know who we contact and.
Me.
Oh, okay.
It
I didn't know if it was like, you know, a donation thing, you know, if something.
could be. I was hoping to make an order towards the end of the fiscal year, depending on how the budget looked. If we
Okay.
had, you know, some money sitting there that we could still utilize for that and put one in there and a couple other areas that we've had requests made.
Yeah. Nope, that would be perfect. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that would improve that. So,
Cool.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Sounds like a grant opportunity.
To screw
A
it
doggy duty grant.
up. Okay.
Could be, you got lots of money, just thinking.
Yes.
Maybe there's a
If
young
any-
enterprising individual who wants to go around and do it.
I still want to bring up the beautiful garbage can holder in Keizer Rapids and how wonderful it
I have
is.
to go see this thing, you've talked about it a couple times.
I love it. And then, I mean, I even asked Don, it's like, so, you know, I really love this garbage can holder. Do you guys really like it, or should I shut up? And he's like, I made that. Like, this is the second prototype. We did this, This is, you know, how easy it is. Because in the windstorm,
Yeah.
it didn't blow over. The lid doesn't blow off. It's not full of water. The trash doesn't get spread all over the place because of dogs, coyotes, any
She's your
kids.
sales lady, right?
I mean, it
I mean,
is,
it sounds like you and Don need to partner and retire.
yes. I mean, 'cause
like
it, you know, and it's got this, a super secret way, so when he's changing it, it holds it open, so he can
And
just.
there's
take a
more.
I love that you are so excited about this.
It is.
Billy
and
Mays needs to watch out.
It is an amazing, amazing garbage can holder. And
very
it's
excited
made
about
from
this.
old, like the old pickets from the
Yeah,
Big
yeah, yeah.
Toy. I mean, it's just reclaimed wood.
Yeah, that.
So if we
yeah.
had people, like, especially people who wanted to make a difference in the Eagle Scouting world, that this would be so wonderful. So easy to do.
I mean, I kind of want to go build some trash containers. We build picnic baskets, why not do trash containers? It's gonna be
So,
fun. You want to go build some? Want to go build some?
Sure.
Okay.
The other thing about Keizer Rapids is that with the windstorm, there are quite a few larger trees, and there were quite a few of the, it seemed almost like habitat trees, like in the disc golf area, some kind of, they were deadish, they were snags, and some of them have fallen across paths. So there's.
Frisbee golf, that's just a hazard though at that point.
Is Frisbee golf the hazard, or is the tree the hazard?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So, but so there, with the windstorm, there were a lot of trees that big branches had fallen off, and, you know, they've been scooched off to the side.
It's better though, since the previous windstorm a few years ago, right? Like we're getting rid of all the
Oh, yeah.
dead growth and
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Because I remember the windstorm a couple years ago, like I feel like you spent about 30 days doing nothing but cleaning up
You're
material.
talking the ice storm?
Yeah, right, right. Wind, ice, it's all.
That was
It's
horrible.
weather, the
I mean,
weather storm.
granted, there was the wind that pushed the ice, so I'm kind of sort of right, but I'm gonna stick with that. All right, any other comments on Keizer Rapids? Anybody else excited about trash cans? Nope, moving on. Okay, Robert, tell us about the staff report and turf field update.
Yes, thank you, Chair. We did experience a rather large windstorm this weekend. Quite a bit of small debris came down. We did have some larger debris in the forested area. I know our guys were out working on that this afternoon. So if you notice anything that we haven't noticed, please feel free to give me a call, email, shoot me a picture. Try to get on it ASAP. Sometimes it's hard to go inspect all of our trees quickly, but we do the best we can. after a large storm. So yeah, we're working on that. We've been trying to mow when we can, but as everybody has pretty much stated, it's very squishy right now. I'm looking
Spongy.
forward to spongy, not squishy. Looking forward to the sun coming up. It's supposed to be really nice this weekend, so that'll be good, help dry things out a bit. Graffiti, I gave you all some photos of this month's graffiti and vandalism. We had a vehicle drive out through Bob Newton Park at 2 a.m. and just rutted it all up and just had a jolly good time. That's what those are. As well as graffiti at Willamette Manor Park. And the most recent, the big toy bathrooms, the entire front. So we just keep going around and painting over stuff. You know, it's what we do now. We've got some pretty fancy equipment. We bought a sprayer and some paint shields, and we're going into the painting business, I feel like, but that's just reality for us right now. If you guys notice graffiti, feel free to email me photos quickly. I don't like to leave it up more than just a couple hours after knowing. We try to get on it as quick as possible. I want it to look like it was never there. So I don't want them to have any credit for whatever they're doing. That is our goal.
Willamette Manor, I mean, by 3 in the afternoon,
Yeah,
it was completely gone.
yeah.
Completely.
The challenge can be, if it's pouring down rain sideways, we can't go paint it. So unfortunately, sometimes due to weather, we have to wait. But other than that, we try to get on it ASAP. We do have a new graffiti remover product that we've been using that we've had pretty good luck with. It does have limits of what you can and can't use it on, but we've had some really good luck with it. It's kind of a citrus smell. So we try to use that on everything we can, and the rest gets painted over, so.
On the pump house, some
Yeah.
of that red is starting to bleed through. I
Is it?
noticed that
Okay.
today.
Might have to
So-
hit it with a
I
couple
mean, and
coats,
it's,
sounds like.
because I know it was there.
Yeah.
I can see it
You
starting
can
to
see it.
bleed through, but.
Okay, thank you. I'll let the water department know. They maintain that one building. And as you can see on there, even the swim club got hit that time, so crazy. Reminder, we still have picket orders for Keizer Rapids Park Big Toy out, so if anybody knows of anyone who wants to get a picket made for a family member, that's still open. We'll leave that open for at least another month. We've gotten quite a few orders in, but I just want to make sure everybody has a good opportunity, so feel free to continue to spread the word about that. $50 each. And the update on our soccer fields, turf fields, and at Keizer Rapids, that project has started. It is fully underway. Construction fence and construction entry was installed about a week ago, and they did not waste any time getting to work utilizing the good piece of weather we had last week. They were able to come in there and strip all of the topsoil off and got it down to a rough grade, if you will. And then tomorrow, it sounds like they're planning on cement treating the soil, which will help firm things up and allow them to continue to do some other work down there. It's part of the plan. So they're making very good progress down there, weather dependent. Obviously, the storm unfortunately blew down almost all of the construction
I was
fencing.
gonna ask you if that was
yeah,
storm related or if
It was
that
storm related, absolutely storm related. It all blew
Kid-related.
to the north for the most part.
Was there any paint on it?
No red paint found on it,
There was no red paint, but it was all down.
But yeah, they're moving right along, so that's good. There is an RFP that is most likely gonna be going out here, in the next couple weeks. City Manager Adam Brown has asked me to ask the Parks Board if one of you would like to volunteer to be, on the, review committee that will oversee the RFP intake. So if one of you would like to volunteer for that,
RFP on what?
on the, well, it's most likely going to be on the maintenance and operations of the soccer field complex that we're constructing right now. Thank you. So if there's any volunteers,
I will.
I don't know, I'll let you, the chair, handle how that gets voted on.
Well, so what I'll say is at some point there was a task force. I haven't heard anything about the task force since October of probably 22. But in my role, in my day job, I can't participate in that. And so, David, it sounds like you have interest. Is there anybody else specifically that has interest? in participating on this? Okay, so if there's no objections, I don't know that we need a formal motion. We can go by consent, right, Dawn?
I honestly don't know. This is new for me. I would do a motion to be safe.
I'm reluctant to do that since it wasn't an action item, but.
Yeah, I think
Wouldn't that totally be separate?
if we have just one person interested, that's the
Yeah, I think we
volunteer.
just
and-
do by consent.
Yeah.
We've done that in the past for
Yep.
previous appointments for
Okay.
RFPs. I think,
David,
is
thank you.
anybody opposed to David Loudon being the Parks Board representative on the RFP? For those of you not familiar, that's request for proposal. Nobody? All right, I think that should work, Robert.
Perfect, thank you. And lastly, pickleball courts update. We got our final set of plans back from the engineers. That's been given to legal. They're finishing, finalizing the bid packet for that, and we expect that to go out to bid in the next week or two. That is from them, that is an estimate, but that is our goal right now. So that should be going out to bid very quickly. I was hoping it would be out by now, but it's not, so it's okay.
Great.
And that's it. Thank you.
The only thing I have to add for you, Robert, Mark should have reached out. We need to make sure we have extra garbage cans for this weekend.
I did a walkthrough with Mark today,
Okay,
and we have 25.
perfect.
Is that okay? That good?
No, I'm operating on yesterday's information, so we're good to go. Thank you.
It's today.
You're more efficient than I am.
What's this weekend?
Well, I'll get to that in a minute, after we hear from Counselor Kohler.
Well, that's one of the things I was gonna say, but if you're gonna talk about it, that's fine. I'll just mention it and then you can talk about it.
By all means,
We
Counselor.
have Civic Center cleanup this weekend. Come on by and join us. We're gonna have a lot of fun. 9 to noon, unless you guys are really slow. A lot of hands make light work and it'll be a lot of fun. Always has been. I understand there's food too, so that's what I was told.
Light refreshments typically.
Food,
I don't know who's bringing food.
whatever it is, it'll go in your mouth.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay, so, and then I heard that we were gonna have some kind of a special fundraiser thing that in the parks, we were gonna collect the sponges and see if we could market them.
Spongy, yeah.
That joke
Okay.
was squishy at best.
Yes.
Cold water.
The other part that I was told is that this is a pretty fun board, and I appreciate that we can have fun, but y'all are having too much fun sometimes. But, and I was wondering, are the two fields gonna be done before we actually have the groundbreaking?
I was starting to wonder myself.
Yeah, because the
no.
groundbreaking is on the 21st.
Yeah,
Yeah.
At 4:30.
they'll
for
still be
anybody that'd
breaking
like to
plenty of
attend.
ground.
It's for the seating.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
so that's it.
Well, thank you for introducing that. I will also offer, because our colleague, Mr. Shackelford, sent a notice out. If there are individuals that feel really good about getting out there with some hedge trimmers on Friday, Bob, tell us a little bit about what's going on Friday with that.
Friday, usually there's about 5 or 6 of us. They've been doing it for years. We trim everything up with the gas-powered trimmers, but Keizer had made comment that we need a couple more that feel comfortable running gas-powered equipment. So don't everyone show up that, we only need a couple.
Yep.
So, we usually knock everything out in the morning on Friday and then let you guys clean up on Saturday.
That's right.
So if anyone, like you said, I sent a Mac email out today, we just need a couple more, because we only have so many, gas-powered trimmers from Public Works, so.
Yeah, and Councilor, again, thank you for introducing it. It's a massive project. Last year, we filled the 30-yard debris bin completely to the top and over. It's a tremendous amount of work and savings for the city. Gwen, you were there last year. Thank you for being there. I believe Tanya, you were there as well last year. It is open to all ages and all skill sets. Come out, check it out. It is fun. You'll find some funny things occasionally. There was a toddler shoe a couple years ago, which made no sense because there was only one. And about 5 feet away, there was other stuff that kind of made you go, there might be a drunk toddler running around here. It was an empty thing of tequila. It was a terrible story. Anyways, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So this Saturday, come out 9 to noon. What I would say is we kick off at 9, so be there just a little bit early, do the registration, dress for the weather. and just come spend a couple hours in some sun. It's supposed to be 70.
Wow.
Counselor?
Mr. Chair, do we know who's going to be in the bin yet?
I do know that Chief Copeland is coming, and I did text him the other day, and I says, I'm hoping you're willing to take over for Chief Teague. And he goes, yeah, I'm totally excited about being there. Now, I don't think he understands the extent of that because I also didn't volunteer that. But Tim Wood is also usually in the bin as well, and so I will know whether or not Chief Copeland likes me anymore after Saturday afternoon.
It's great to be able to throw things at him. I mean, give things to him.
That's right. And I think he's bringing some of his football players too, so
Good.
that's exciting. So, yeah, any other business? Oh, by the way, is witty statements, remarks. We've had enough of those.
I had one question.
Please.
In the amphitheater, is there any, do we know anything about concerts? I haven't seen or heard anything. People are asking because concerts are a great big thing in the park.
That's a great question. I believe the chamber's probably gonna do some again this year, but I will reach out and see if maybe I can ask the executive director to come give us a update, next meeting.
That would be beautiful, thank you.
Yeah, because I don't know, Counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Rumor is that there may be 5 or 6 concerts. We're in negotiation on that now.
We, the city,
The city.
great. Well, there you go.
We the city, nice.
All right. Clay, you good? Good. You sure? You good? I'm great. Glad to see you. All right, without any further ado, we will adjourn at 6:44. Thank you for being here. Have a great evening.